There are a number of stories about how the ghosts came to be in the restaurant. From all the research that we have done, I think the story I'm about to tell is the most accurate. The house that the restaurant is in was built by the Mais family and was started in 1849, 1850. There are 9 buildings on the plaza, all listed on the National Historic Register, and this is one of them.
This was a home built on the plaza by the Mesilla family, who was in the railroad business out of Santa Fe.
The Mais family built this huge house. In this house there were a lot of servants, and one of the servants was a little teenage girl named Inez. Also in the house was the owner's son, a teenager named Armando.
They were a prominent family, and back then they arranged marriages.
Well, teenage boy, teenage girl, same roof, fell in love. And one day, Mom comes home early, unexpectedly from a trip, and she finds Armando and Inez in Armando's bedroom. Mom becomes so outraged that she grabs her sewing shears. In those days, that was a large pair of scissors. She attacks Inez and stabs Inez to death. In the struggle, she accidentally stabbed her own son.
Armando ended up dying a few days later from the infection.
Of course, the important thing for us is that he died, because now we've got not one, but 2 ghosts. And those are the spirits that have been haunting the restaurant ever since. I've heard many reports. We were closing up the restaurant, and one of the employees was setting up tables in the Maximilian room, and he realized that there was somebody else in the room, and he turned around. There was a young woman, Hispanic, long hair, walking out of the Maximilian room into the patio. And he didn't really think anything about ghosts at the time. He thought I'd forgotten to lock the doors and maybe somebody had gotten in. So he runs into the patio there, says, ma'am, I'm sorry, we're closed. There's no one there. So he decided to go home right then. And the next day he made me sign a pledge never to leave him alone in the restaurant again.
Well, I just heard that occasionally the staff will come in and the silverware will be rearranged.
The one time I had my hair being tugged, it was one of the 2 top tables, and I was talking to my tables, and I thought somebody tugged at my hair and thought it was one of the kids telling me to hurry up, and there wasn't anybody there. I mostly work in the patio, so I get a lot of activities still there.
And then we had this old oven doors. You needed to really tug hard on them to open them, and one day, at the same time, during the day, they just pop right open by themselves. Our water would turn on and off. We come here in the morning and we'd find glasses tipped over, chairs moved.
So how long have you been working there?
I was 13.
There was a person who came in who was a sensitive. They used to be called psychics.
I'm an empathic psychic medium, which means that empath means that I function on feelings, so I can pick up feelings and emotions from people and from places. Every thought that we express, every action that we express leaves an imprint, an energetic imprint. So whenever I walk into a place, I can pick up things that have happened in the past, that are happening now, and can possibly happen in the future. She
was in here and she was walking through, and she was immediately feeling, things. She said she didn't know any of the stories of the restaurant or anything. And she actually went into the Carlotta room, the ghost room, and the first thing she said was, somebody got stabbed here.
I had never been here before, and we came about 2 weeks ago, and I will share what happened to me in this room. I was sitting over there, and the first images that I got were of 2 women and a man, and there had been a stabbing, and the man had died. I had no idea.
Well, I have heard some of the stories. The only time the ghosts get upset is if you sit in one of their chairs. And so we've discovered a couple of chairs in the dining room that we put in the ghost room just for decor purposes. Yet those chairs are wearing out, although we tell everybody don't sit in those.
But there used to be a couch, and you can see on half the couch it was worn, and these chairs, one was worn and one wasn't. The waiters used to come in, they say that first thing in the morning, a chair would be up on a table, but they didn't put it.
Oh, wow. There's supposed to be a worn spot on this chair, you know, over there because the ghost sits in that chair, that kind of thing.
But we do a lot of bus tours, and I always tell the bus tour people the ghost story and tell them don't sit in those chairs, but there's always a smart aleck or two, you know, I don't believe in no ghosts. And they'll sit in the chair, and I've got all sorts of notes and emails from people saying, oh my God, this happened to me the day after we left, you know, we felt cursed, or I felt I was being followed, or had bad dreams. So they do have an effect on people.
I'm the founder and the director of Southwest Paranormal Investigations. I founded this approximately in 2005. This isn't our job, this is our hobby. And we're all professionals during the day. We have nurses, we have AT&T engineers, we have police officers, wide range of people who do different things. And this is just someone, you just have to have a passion to do this. And we don't charge for our services. And people kind of like freak out on that. It says, how come you don't charge? Well, why would we? I mean, we want to do this.
I'm actually an independent paranormal investigator out of El Paso. Whenever a group asks me to come in and assist in investigations, that's what I'm here for.
We got a monitor in the back.
You want me to get the monitor?
Yeah, please.
What?
I only have 3 off it. You know what I can do is plug yours and then piggyback off yours.
I'm one of the investigators for Southwest Paranormal Investigations. I'm what we call a sensitive, in a sense. I'm not psychic, but I can sense what I describe as where we might pick up activity. This is the Carlotta room. Of course, this is the most famous room there is. Just now when I walked in, I got chills. Completely.
My name is Tony. I'm a investigator with the Southwest Paranormal Investigations. I more of kind of tech side of it. I set up a lot of the equipment and getting all the cameras set up and stuff. These right here are the IR sensors. All these LEDs, and they will they light up at night. You can barely see. You will be able to see a little bit of red on it, but you can't really see that it's illuminating, but the camera sees really bright.
My name is Danielle, and I'm actually an apprentice for paranormal research. Kind of dabble in the empathetic, sensitive abilities. What many people would consider a psychic or a medium. It was kind of like a static feeling, both emotional and physical. It's just like your face starts tingling.
This is our 4th visit in this place. And every time we've stayed here, we've captured something on either audio or video, photos, etc. Every single time. Full body apparitions, orb activity, which is on pretty neat orb activity, and a lot of EVPs. There's several deaths in this building, for sure. Armando died in this building, and Inez died in this building, and I believe their mother died in this building. These are high resolution, 240-foot range IR cameras. These will show up on the base station monitor, and we can keep an eye on everything that's going on in the building while we're investigating. What it does is just going to record constantly all night and hopefully we'll capture something on these cameras throughout the night. And we're gonna set up 4 to 6 of these, and then everything else will go handheld, night vision cameras.
This is a infrared camera, commonly referred to as you guys call it helmet cam, but this has got a mic and it's got infrared capability.
So we'll put this down on the table and we'll, tell it, basically, don't be afraid of this light. We want you to come near it. We want you to say something. Say anything that you want to say. Say hello. We do EVP sessions in other languages also.
I want to start in here because this is the one that gives me, I'm just naturally drawn to this area right here, okay? And I'm going to go ahead and turn it on so y'all can see this. Okay? Right here, there's a shift in energy for me right here, okay? I don't like this right here. This is this area in here is not positive.
But I heard a story once somebody felt a presence in a restroom.
Which one, men's or women's?
The women's restroom.
I told you.
Which women's bathroom did they say?
That one here.
This one here? But yeah, that bathroom, for some reason, that particular area, people walk in there, they say they feel very uncomfortable. Matter of fact, some of the other employees we've talked to in the past have said that a lot of customers don't like using that in there.
I told my dad I needed to go to the bathroom, He's like, you know where it's at, go ahead and go. So I'm walking, I'm like 9 years old, and I'm walking to the bathroom here, and through the window, I don't know if you can see, but our skeleton hanging, okay, from the ceiling, and it looked like somebody ran across and just smacked all the skillets. So I kind of got scared, and I, just held it and went back.
The way I discern negative energies is that you have your white energies, which are loving, kind energies. Then you have your gray energies, which are those that try to create gossip and havoc and are mischievous and not nice people. And then you have your negative energies, the ones that purposely go out and do negative things. Then you have what I would call your, for lack of a better term, your demonic energies. Not necessarily demons per se, but those that have turned completely away from God. This is a negative energy.
And there's a lot of negativity out there since we live in a world of duality. So you want to be really careful about who and what you call upon.
There's 3 different types of energies, and I'm not sure if you're familiar with what they are, but I'm going to give you the very brief 101 on them. The first one is you have an earthbound. Okay, and an earthbound is the spirit that has not crossed over. They have not crossed what people would call the white light. That's an earthbound. That is a ghost.
A lot of spirits seem to get stuck in this plane, on this planet. So I find that they, the spirits, these souls, seem to be tied to the earth and will not give up the responsibility or the connection to their so-called job.
For whatever reason, it has not crossed over, whether it's stuck here because it doesn't know it's dead, whether it's stuck here because it's attached to a property or something that's materialistic, or whether it's here to watch over their family.
With stuck spirits or spirits that tend to stay and roam in a same place, a lot of them, my spirit guides tell me, don't know that they're dead.
I don't think that's a good thing then. If everybody else gets a bad feeling.
That is something else, isn't it? A little bit and see if we hear anything. Is anybody in this bathroom besides us 3 guys?
No, that was all over. Get this, film this shit. What is that?
What happened?
Power just went out.
The sensor is going off and no one's in there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's still going
definitely going off.
Everybody should be gone.
I don't know, I'm getting out of here.
Hey, you did what you wanted, remember?
Yeah.
And I told you guys it's going to be very active tonight.
And that's a sensor light. It can only be triggered by emotion. Okay.
Well, it could be because, was anybody?
Is it? It's still going on.
No one's been in there and it's still going on and off.
Oh, okay. Let me see.
Floating motion. It'll
This
actually
thing went like
What
this.
about this?
Look at the light. It's going off again.
It's going off.
It's shot like this.
It looked like it went like this. Do you guys? Is it just
Yeah.
me or do you see that purple spot?
Like to hang out in the corners.
Why corners? Just going that way. Is that like safer?
I don't know, like a blue light and then it went away.
Yeah, it went that way. There can be different colors. I've seen orange, I've seen yellow, blue, white.
I seriously just did.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there's nothing like reflecting. I don't think turn like. There's nothing reflecting or anything.
Sometimes there's things out there that we don't see, and then later on we go back and look at them. That's when we see something popping up.
on cameras like this. Like he captured it on the camera, but probably couldn't see it with his naked eye.
There are a few things. You can have your orb, which is almost a full manifestation, as opposed to, complete manifestation. The orbs are easier to manifest, but then you will have those blurs, okay, because they're moving, and when the orb is manifesting, that means it's developed enough energy to form a shape, and it moves. But there's times when they don't have all of that energy, so you'll see just like a stripe just kind of go through.
He saw a black figure. I used to see a male figure, but he saw it himself, and he's, like I said, is the skeptic. He doesn't, at the time didn't believe very much of this, that this could happen or whatever, but once it was in our house and he actually saw it himself, and there was movement in the house that he could follow, and it hit the trash can and it moved the trash can, you know what I mean? It was it was there. He can tell you himself. He believes now, yeah, absolutely, it can bring all of this home with you, and you just hope you don't, and you tell whatever it is, stay.
I've had things follow me home. Had the same thing follow, similar situation. Janet and Tony have had things happen to them at their house. Danielle and Yvonne have had things follow them home.
This is your home. This is where you belong. We're just here to talk to you and find out about you, and document anything we can about you, and I guess just like going into anybody else's home, a stranger's home. You're not there to hurt anybody. It's just to get the information and leave, and hopefully they'll stay.
I was kind of skeptic to this, so I felt there was always an explanation for everything, and some people believe because a light switch came on that it's paranormal or something like that, and I looked at it more as you can, electrician could justify that,
Doing this long enough, we know that there is paranormal activity is the best way to describe it. We don't know what, like I said, we're pretty skeptic. I mean, we try to debunk things.
I know that they got a really good picture of a full body apparition here that pretty much can't be explained, so that one, it's a pretty compelling picture if you've seen it, and I know with earlier when we were in the room, I know I heard a whisper or a breath or something, and she heard it and I heard it, and it's there. What it is, I'm not sure, but it wasn't either of us.
My husband and I were both in the Carlotta room just now doing an EVP session. Then I started asking for whatever was there to come touch me, and held out my hands, and he did also, trying to get some kind of response from whatever was there, and felt a touch on my leg, inside of my leg, jumped. On my own recorders, we had some noises that we couldn't explain. We had some movement that we couldn't explain. Those are a little harder to roll out, especially when you have a lot of people in the building. I did a long EVP session here. Just felt like somebody was in here with us, but I didn't get anything in response. But it's just something that I'm drawn to for this room.
I think Inez and Armando are more intelligent because there's just been too many employees through all the years that have seen them and have the experience with them. And I think they try to interact to a certain extent. I don't think it's residual. And I don't think it's definitely not demonic.
That we don't know really what they are. Okay. A lot of these investigations that I do, I try to base them on scientific fact. In other words, why is it a lot of reports that happen in public or business establishments such as this, why do some of them, a lot of them seem to center on the women's bathroom, for example? You know, why do some of them seem to center on a particular person that they claim to see?
I think the energy in that room is, what I would say is more Carlotta than Armando or Inez. Okay, so I didn't feel Inez this time. We came here a few weeks ago and I felt a remnants of her, but I don't think that she's necessarily earthbound. I think she's more of a visitation. She kind of visits and takes a look around. But I think Carlotta's actually the one that's in that room.
I think there's something here. I wouldn't say haunting and make it feel or seem like it's something in a bad light, but I think there's something here. Not sure if it's good or bad, but I think there's something here.
And a lot of the stuff that we do is theory. You know, it's based on theory because we don't understand yet, fully understand the science behind it. We can't put it into a test tube, we can't put it into a lab to study, so we can't quantitatively and qualitatively analyze it. Yeah.
There's just so much, too many incidents, there's something there.
Coincidence? I'll leave it up to you.